If you look on social media, there's a lot of, I don't know, despondence. A lot of people are saying that the bull market is actually over. You'd be interested to know that there are so many posts of people talking about, the bull market is over. Oh, see you next time. There's talk of Bitcoin crashing to $10,000. By the way, if Bitcoin were to crash to $10,000 today, I'll be pleased because I'd buy quite a fair bit, but I would be irritated because it would mean that, yes, indeed, the bull market was over, right? Because we're going to have to wait another bunch of years before the wealth transfer, the generational wealth generation event. It's a combination of trolling and, all sorts of things. But some people are actually taking it quite seriously, and there's a lot of mocking going on. I think it's a combination of people who have lost some money, maybe. They had leveraged longs, were liquidated by this whole tariffs thing, and then they just trying to get everybody else to sell and get out, to try and... This is what happens, right? When you're out of the market, you don't want the market to move up because you're already out. You've already lost money, whatever. But more importantly, what I think about is if the bull market truly was over, it would mean that we've had no alt season at all this year. No alt season at all. And I don't think that's the case. I think we still have quite a bit of time. If you look at when the all-time highs were made last time in 2021, it was towards November, October type season. So we're still months down the line when these tokens can rally, 5, 6, 7, 8, even 10x's. Particularly, some of the biggest hitters from the last bull market that haven't moved at all. Now, if you consider that Bitcoin has made a new all-time high, it even made it early because of many catalysts, the ETFs, Donald Trump, etc. Lots of positivity surrounding Bitcoin, and Bitcoin rallied and made all-time highs. Some meme coins, some alts also made all-time highs, but the big guys, the ones that are solid altcoins from the last bull market, have not seen the same pump that they saw last time when Bitcoin hit all-time high, which kind of suggests that Bitcoin hasn't reached all-time high just yet, or that the whales that usually cycle their money down to this alts don't think that Bitcoin has achieved its best just yet. Of course, there's also the argument that the mechanism of the Bitcoin all-time high this time is different from what happened last time. So last time it was just the whales cycling down. This time it's institutions and ETFs and all sorts of choices that aren't necessarily going to cycle down. Like ETF money isn't going to cycle down the coins because they're not actually spot positions like or spot holdings like Bitcoin was last bull run. Now we have all manner of derivatives, all manner of strategies. People want to hodl Bitcoin forever. There's utility involved. So a lot of the interest this year is institutional. So it doesn't necessarily follow that they're going to be cycled down like they were last time. But at least we should see some kind of movement in some of these other alts, but we haven't seen them yet. Ethereum is a glaring one. I mean, Ethereum used to follow Bitcoin relatively closely and respond first from all the altcoins. But if you look at Ethereum, it is still 68% down from the all-time highs. And this all-time high was made 3 years ago in 2021. So not exactly 4 years ago yet. It was November. So it's 3 years and a bit. We're still months ahead of schedule. So, Ethereum is still 66% down. So it's still a fair bit to get to the previous all-time highs and then enter price discovery. Now, I'm not terribly a giant ETH fan myself. I don't think that it has the same juice that it used to. There's just too much choice now, too many alternatives, and too many coins are doing the thing that Ethereum is known to do. So a lot of that money has flown into things like Solana, etc. Solana, of course, has made a new all-time high since 2021. So that is fine. Cardano is another one. Cardano was a massive hitter in the last bull market. As you can see, it is still 79 to 80% down from the previous all-time high, which is again September 2021. So we've still got a fair way to go, 3 or 4 months to go before we start to get worried that Cardano is not going to do a new all-time high this season. One of my favorites from last all-time highs, last bull market, is Polkadot. And Polkadot was a huge coin with so much potential. And I believe that Polkadot is one of those coins that a lot of people are super down on. Not only is it still 93% down from the previous all-time high, which is made November of 2021. So it's got more than 10x to go to get to the previous all-time highs, let alone price discovery. So if this were to do a double of the previous all-time high, in line with the likes of Bitcoin and others, probably should do more, because it should be orders of magnitude more percentage than Bitcoin. Then this coin, in theory, is looking at something like a 40x this bull market. But would this happen? I don't believe so. Why? Because again, all of the things that it was doing back in the last bull market have been sort of, someone else is eating their lunch now. Somebody else is doing them. Those problems are solved. Does anybody remember the parachain options? There was what was the other sister blockchain called? There was I've forgotten it now. It was kind of like a test net, and even that was pumping. I can't remember the name now. It's completely gone off my head. But Polkadot was one of those super promising tokens that a lot of people sank a lot of money into. Now it's crashed 93% even today. So a long way to go to $55, which was the all-time high in November of 2021. And then you have Cronos. Now, Cronos has suddenly woken up in the last few weeks because of the Donald Trump organization that has collaborated with Cronos or Crypto.com, the company. So that's woken up suddenly. But even then, that is still 90% down from previous all-time highs, which was November 2024 at 96 cents and 0.98. So very, very close, almost made it to $1. Never quite did. And that is still 10x away from that. Now, will this coin be able to regain an all-time high this season? I actually think that they can. They're a very, very solid organization, Crypto.com. They cut their codes according to their size. And they were one of the exchanges that made it through the gruesome bear market, still maintaining their function, not going under, not owing anyone any money, not scam. Well, what is called a scam is different for different people, but not outright scamming people like Coinbase and all these other crazy organizations, right? So Crypto.com, they've managed to survive the worst and they've built back better. So I do believe that Crow is going to do amazing things when the pumps begin again. Another one is Polygon. Now, Polygon did make an all-time high last March. Something happened that suddenly spiked Polygon back. Let's look at the maximum. You can see right there, it did a little comeback. And then in March of 2024, it achieved that peak there, which was the previous all-time high. So it's done its all-time high. Would it get back to that all-time high? Who knows? It's 85% down though, which doesn't look good for Polygon, to be honest. Polygon did well because of the games and the fees, the speed, but now Solana has completely eaten Polygon's launch. I mean, people have even forgotten that Polygon Matic exists, probably because they keep changing their name from Matic to Polygon, Polygon to Matic, Matic to Polygon, or what have you. But I think Solana has completely destroyed their mind share, which is probably why they're as down as they are right now. And of course, we have Cosmos. This is another one that was massive. It was huge last bull run. But look at it. It's 90% down still. And this was in September of 2021. Again, a massive upside for Cosmos. And a lot of people are, the community is strong with Cosmos. A lot of people believe in Cosmos. And I think that it could come back to its previous all-time highs. So that's another 10x. So there are multiple 10x tokens out there. even now in 2025, that people think that the alt market is over. Everyone is focused on Bitcoin. The institutions are focused on the big tokens, XRP and Bitcoin for now, because they are the ones that have the institutional attention, and a lot of whales and a lot of mind share is going towards those because, they're the ones in the limelight. And people have forgotten about all these other, 10x possibilities, right? If you look at XRP has done a 5x. Yes, it's cooled off a little bit now. Whoa, what's going on there? It's a bit of a pump. Probably some news that I should look into. But XRP is doing pretty well, right? It's done a 5x in November, December. Another 2x from there would be a 10x, and it would clear the all-time highs properly, not the janky one from Korea. So XRP's done well, and it's got a bright upside to it. Ethereum hasn't done so well compared to XRP. I know XRP lagged previous all-time high, didn't achieve it. It was like from 8 years ago, what have you. But, it's back now. All of those legal things are over. And XRP, I think, is going to melt faces this year. But all these other 10x possibilities are out there. So if you're holding these tokens, hoping to come back, a lot of people are in the red, man, especially with Polkadot, man. I don't have any Polkadot. Wow, there's something going on. I should probably have a look at that. Everyone's pumping now. Polkadot, right? I sold all my Polkadot when it was high. Thankfully, I made some money with Polkadot. And something prevented me from buying into that parachain auctions. I think it was because I was dealing with some family health issues. I wasn't totally focused at the time, which is kind of a blessing in disguise. I didn't get my money locked up in that stuff. But this is not financial advice, your own research. I don't think that the bull market is over. I think that we haven't even seen the bull run just yet.